Welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we're going to conclude the May-June 2016 Paper 2 for CSEC Principles of Business. So that's the May-June 2016 Paper 2 for CSEC POB. And so we did number 6 in the last video, and today we're going to conclude with number 7, the last one on this paper. And so we're going to just jump right into it, but before we do so, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when Learn SKN drops another POB, economics, agriculture, whatever video. Alright, so do that and then let's just jump right into it. So number 7A, define each of the following terms. And we have standard of living and national income, 2 marks each. And so the standard of living simply measures the level of goods that consumers can have access to or can consume within a country. So it's basically telling you how much of whatever you can afford, how much of a certain good you can afford, what level of a certain good you can afford. For example, can you afford, let's say, a 3-bedroom family home? Can you afford a nice car? Can you afford a nice internet service? Can you afford clean water? That kind of thing. So that's what the standard of living tend to measure. The level of your level of consumption, in a sense. According to the economics textbook, standard of living is the level of economic well-being of an individual or population. It takes into account income levels and the quality and quantity of goods and services consumed. Like I was saying, so if you're a country that your average person consumed have a high income per capita, and persons consuming expensive things, they own expensive cars, nice homes, buy expensive food, then they have a high standard of living. If not, a lower one. So that's standard of living in a nutshell. And then they ask for national income now. So they ask for national income, and that's simply the monetary value of all the economic activities that went down in an economy. That's the money, that's the national income. So that's the monetary value of all the economic activity that occurred within an economy. And normally we call it GDP. GDP is the national income, and so it's normally for a time period, so a year. So it's the monetary value or the value of the economic activities that took place in an economy over a span of time, normally a year. And if we jump to the economics textbook, we see it here again. National income is a measure of economic activity in an economy. So a measure is normally the monetary value of it, of economic activity that took place within an economy over a given period of time, usually a year. National income can be calculated using, okay, so we have to go into all that. So that's in essence GDP. That's the national income. So that's number 1, number 7A, 1 and 2. So that's 4 easy marks right there for you. Alright, let's roll on to part B. Describe one way in which each of the following indicators affect an individual's standard of living. Okay, lovely application question again. And so we have quality and availability of employment. Now, this one is quite obvious because remember we just stated that the national income is about what you can afford, what you consume. And so we're talking about quality and availability of employment. Then we're saying that if you have a low-paying job, then your standard of living might be low. If you have a low-paying job because you can't afford much of anything. If you're unemployed, then it makes it even worse because you have no income, and so therefore your standard of living can be negatively impacted. So the quality and availability of employment can impact your standard of living. And if you want, you can go the reverse. If you have a high quality job, your standard of living would be higher. If you are fully employed, gainfully employed, nice income, then your standard of living would be higher. Then they say quality and affordable housing. Again, same way. Remember, standard of living is all about what you consume, what you can afford, and what you consume in essence. So if you have a how should I put it? If you have a not too nice of a home, of course you would expect that your standard of living might be poor, because imagine you have 10 persons living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. That's not really ideal, and so the standard of living for that would be not the best. And then this affordable housing. Now, if you cannot afford to pay rent, pay mortgage, and the housing that you have is out of your pocket range, then you'll have to settle for something. That's where the quality comes in. You have to settle for something of a lower quality. And again, that would impact your standard of living. And again, the flip side, if you have a nice home, a nice townhouse, a nice 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom and a half, and whatever, a mansion, and you got it for nuts changed, relatively cheap, then of course the quality of living would be better, would be higher than someone who is in the reverse situation. All right, so describe one way in which each of the following indicators affect the individual's standard of living, and so we just went through that part by part, 2 marks each. So far, so good. Cooking and gas. Those who do economics, these are things that would easily walk over. Oh, there's a next one also. There's a next one, sorry. Access to affordable and quality healthcare. Again, the same thing. We're looking at it from both sides of the coin. If you have affordable and quality healthcare, your standard of living would be higher than if you don't have access to affordable and quality healthcare. Of course, that would mean that you are able to see good doctors, you are able to buy a medication and things like that if the system is robust enough. And so if you don't have a quality healthcare system, you're in trouble, and that would reduce your standard of living. Right? So look at it from both sides to get your 2 marks. Okay, good. So that's it for that one. That's B. Let's look at C now. Describe 2 approaches used to measure national income. And of course, we're about to dig into it, but there are 3 approaches. You have your income approach, your expenditure approach, and your output approach. So you can use those different methods to measure, but they said to describe just 2. There are 3 main ones. They want us to describe 2. So let's describe 3 so you can have options. Right? Let's describe 3 so you can have options. And so we have here, there are 3 methods. That's expenditure method, the income method, and the output method. The total expenditure in the economy is equal to the total of all factor income earned, which is in turn equal to the value of the total output in the economy. Okay, good. So let's not go through all of that, right? So the income method, as it suggests, what is happening here is that you're calculating all of the incomes that came about within the economy for a given period of time, usually a year. So you add up all the summation of all incomes. But the reason why you can use 3 different methods is because they are supposed to be balanced. Because what is income for someone is expenditure for someone else, and that expenditure is used to purchase some form of output. So this should all balance. So the income method, you're just calculating, you're adding up all of the income within the economy over a period of time, and the total, that's your national income. The expenditure method, again, that's where you calculate or you add up all of the expenditure that were outlaid within the economy for a certain period of time, usually a year. And the output is, again, you calculate the value, add up the value of all the output that came from that economy within a certain period of time, usually a year. And so those are the methods in calculating your national income. So that's basically it in a nutshell. All right, so those are the 3 methods, approaches to measuring or calculating national income. Again, the income method, expenditure method, output method. Income method, you calculate all the incomes within the economy for a certain period of time, usually a year. You add up all of that, the total, that's the national income. The expenditure method, you calculate all of the expenditure within the economy for a certain period of time. You add that up, and the number, that's your expenditure method, that's GDP. And output, the same thing, you calculate the value. You calculate the value, add up the value of all outputs in a nation, in an economy for a year. And the outcome is the value. That's the GDP. Okay, good. So that's C. 4 marks. Easy marks. All right, D. Explain how each of the following indicators can be used to evaluate the quality of life of citizens in your country. The quality of life of citizens in your country. And so we're looking at quality of life now. Now, it's different to standard of living. Quality of life now is all about how you measure things like your health, education, your well-being. So it measures the well-being of citizens of a country, people in an economy. It measures their well-being. How are they in terms of education, sickness, health, that kind of thing. And so if you're looking at here, right to privacy, right? How does that use to evaluate your citizens' quality of life? Again, that means that if you have a high right to privacy, meaning you do what you want, the government not intervening, nobody looking around in your business, snooping around in your business, then that would mean that you have a high quality of life in a country, meaning that you are free to do what you want, nobody digging into your business, you have the right to your own privacy, what you do in your house is your business, that kind of thing. Then that would tell you that a country has a high quality of living, high quality of life. Now, if the right to education, only some countries you have the right to education. It's a law right now that you have to go to school from pre-K all the way up to when you're 16 legally. If you're out of school at 16, well, at least in the Caribbean, or for at least in most countries in the Caribbean, if you're not 16 and you're out of school, if you're under 16 and you're out of school, trouble, you're truant, they'll run you back in school. So the right to education. Now, if you don't have access to good education, you don't have the right to your education, then that would mean that your quality of life is low. The quality of life is low. So that is how we measure these things. There are different indicators for quality of life, but education and health, privacy, freedom, those are some of the key ones. So that's basically it. Again, right to education. If you have it, good quality of life. Not only just the right to education, but a quality education in places where it's accessible. That's a high quality of life. In places where it's not, it's low. Same thing for privacy, and that would tell you the level of the quality of life in that country. All right. So again, this is very basic in a sense. You can use your common sense because everybody live in the Caribbean. We have democracy in the Caribbean, and so most of us have a relatively medium to high quality of life in our countries because we have enough privacy rights in our country. You do what you want in your house. We have enough right to education. Most of us, we go to school for free, from at least kindergarten, preschool, right up to, let's say, fifth form. Good. So that's how each of the following indicators can be used to evaluate your quality of life. All right, good. So that's it. Nice application question to end it with. That's it for this paper. That's it for the May-June 2016 paper 2 for Principles of Business. All right, so that's it. You know what to do now. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when Learn SKN drops, maybe 2015, maybe January, who knows, maybe 2014. But in order to find out, you have to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Well, not really like, but subscribe at least, right? All right, good. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.